I was nervous. Karen, my wife of 11 years, had told me to meet her at the Tumbleweed Inn at 3 o'clock. I knew that the bar would be pretty much empty at that hour, and whatever it was she had to tell me would have little to do with partying with her. I didn't know how right I was. The TI was where she and I had met 13 years before. I had a bad feeling. I had suspected that she was cheating on me with a coworker. I was afraid that this meeting would be where I got this news. There had been signs. Late nights at the office where she was a secretary to the boss, disinterest in sex, at least with me, new clothes, provocative clothes in her closet, clothes she never wore around me, and a much reduced interest in communicating with me. We hardly spoke even at meals, fewer and fewer of which she was ever even home for. During the past several months, it had been mostly me and the kids eating, and her coming in with some lame excuse and perhaps a dessert from the market for the children, Max 9 and Megan 10. Her disregard for me was one thing, and it hurt, but her putting the children on the back burner really pissed me off. There were but few cars in the lot when I pulled into the TI. I had resolved to play it cool. She was going to do and say what I suspected was the case. I suspected it all due to a conversation that I had partially overheard 2 nights before. Yes, okay, I agree, Tuesday. Yes, I'll get him there. Well, it was Tuesday and it was 3 o'clock, and she had gotten me here. I sat in the car for a few moments thinking, what if she was with Thea? What should I do? The advice my dad had laid on me years before came to me. They had served me well more than once in my business. Do nothing, son. Unless you know what to do. Say nothing. Let your antagonist figure it out. The less you say, the more he will worry, and if he doesn't worry, then he is vulnerable, and you can make plans to take care of things at a date and time of your choosing. Remember, if you open your mouth, they will know what you're thinking immediately, even if you don't realize it. Just shut up and walk away. Take care of business later, after you have all the facts and your plans are in place. I smiled. God, how I had loved that man. I knew he was watching over me at that very second. I said a silent prayer of thanks for his advice. Inside, I saw her sitting at the bar with a man I didn't recognize, but that was not a big surprise. My company, Steinbeck Incorporated, which I had founded 10 years ago, claimed all of my time during the day, and I had little opportunity to mix with the folks at her place of work. I was an electrical engineer, and my company designed wiring and other electrical schemas for a full dozen construction companies needing the services I could provide. I walked over to the 2 of them. She sensed my presence and turned. "Hello, Mark," she said. Not "hello, honey." No peck on the cheek, just "hello, Mark." "Hi, honey," I said pointedly. "What's up?" The man turned and faced me. "Mr. Steinbeck, or would you prefer I call you Mark? We brought you here today to let you know that your wife and I have been having sex together for some time. She has made it clear that she is tired of sneaking around and having to make excuses, so I convinced her to just simply tell you. As I have said, I was halfway prepared for this, and the recorder in my jacket pocket gave me an edge I hoped. I was getting it all. I waited. I said nothing. After all, Dad was watching, and I didn't want him mad at me for being stupid. "Mark," said Karen, waiting for me to say something, but I remained silent. She must have decided I was in shock or something, so she started talking. "Mark, it has been so hard keeping this from you. I don't want you to feel hurt. I have no intention of leaving you. It's just, well, sex with Jason here is just too much for me to give up. I hope you can understand. I just can't keep this from you any longer." "You deserve to know," she said. I wasn't sure just how aware she was of how stupid her arguments sounded. Karen had not finished college for obvious reasons, but I had never considered her actually dumb until that moment. As for the military genius she was trading me in for, well, enough said. I walked to the end of the bar where the barkeep was trying not to hear what he couldn't help but hear. I ordered what was on tap. He brought it. I sipped it, saying nothing. The 2 of them watched me. I could see confusion on both of their faces. I finished my beer and left. I could feel their eyes following me as I exited the building. I felt good for the first time in months. I felt that I had the upper hand. I might have been imagining it, but it was definitely how I was feeling. I went directly home. The kids would be waiting for me. I kissed the kids hello and laughed, and told them it was going to be a good weekend for them. They yelled and cheered, and we want to get ice cream, and I told them of my plan, which I had formulated earlier that day. They would be staying with their Aunt Susan and Uncle Dak for the weekend. They love my sister and brother-in-law, and they love them. Sue and her husband, an ex-Army Ranger, had been unable to conceive. Hence Max and Megan had become their favorite people in the whole wide world. I knew that Sue and Dak were going camping for the weekend, and now the kids were going to be going with them. That would give me the chance I needed to handle the things that had to be handled. Everything okay, Mark, said Dak. The man had an uncanny knack for picking up on things. Truthfully, no, I said. I'm divorcing Karen. The kids don't know. So, I figured, he said. That brought me up short. What? I've noticed some things, he said. So has Sue. Karen actually made a play for me last Christmas. I blew her off, and she made a joke about it, trying to cover herself, but she couldn't sell it. Not to me. Sue made me not tell you. Sorry, I didn't know. It's okay. I'm just grateful you guys are here to take care of the kids for a couple of days. I need time to get my ducks all lined up. Listen, Mark, if you need me for anything. Thanks, Dak. I'll keep it in mind, but I think I can handle this. It'll be messy, but I have evidence, and this is not a no-fault state, so nailing them shouldn't be a problem. After I leave here, I'm heading over to Henry's to get things underway. Henry Morgan was my company's more than competent attorney. He was by all accounts at least 120 years old, but still sharp as a razor blade. He knew every judge and every worthwhile attorney in the state, let alone in the city. Karen couldn't have not realized what I was capable of doing if I found her cheating. I had to figure that she had come forward with all of this I have a sex buddy stuff in order to short-shake anything I might do if I were to discover them by accident. It was very faulty reasoning, but the more I considered it, the more it made the only possible sense. She was scared I would find out and sandbag her. Well, I was going to do just that. Yeah, Henry, that's about it. I had come to his home unannounced and had surprised him. I had given him the recording and the name of the barkeep who had been a witness to the bizarre meeting with my wife and her sex buddy only hours earlier. Okay, I will have them both served on Monday. Are you going home? He asked. Yes, I guess so. I don't want to tip her off too soon. I will be kicking her out as soon as you tell me they've been served. Okay, Malcolm will interview the witness and get him to sign an affidavit tomorrow, even though it's Sunday. Speed wins in this business. Hit them hard. Hit them fast, and leave them bewildered and sucking dust. I always say, he said, I like the way this man fought. And Mark, yes, sorry about your marriage, and especially about Max and Megan. Anything you need, thanks. Thanks, Henry. I appreciate it. I left feeling very, very good. I had an ex-ranger and a real tough lawyer running point. Now all I had to do was sit back and let the consequences unfold. I had told Henry to deny her anything whatsoever. She was to get nothing. He said it wouldn't be a problem. With any other lawyer I knew, I would probably have to give her half of everything, but her actions, as proved by the record and according to Henry, would give him the leverage to crush her in court. If Henry said it, it was true. That was something I knew to be absolutely certain. I was feeling better and better as I drove home for possibly the last weekend I would be spending with my soon-to-be ex-wife. Arriving home, I was shocked to see a strange car in the driveway. It had to be Jason's. It was getting dark. I wondered if I would be lucky enough to get a pic or two of the lovers. I parked a couple of houses down and snuck up to the house as unobtrusively as I could. The lights were out. Perhaps they were in bed already. That would be even better. I crept around to the back where our bedroom was. I knew I would have to be very quiet. Fortunately, they were making so much noise that I could have brought a marching band in with me, and they wouldn't have noticed. The moon was almost full. I took out my cell phone and began taking shots of their naked bodies going at it with wild abandon. I felt a moment of rage. Then I felt calm and very satisfied. I wondered if it would be illegal to send the pics to her coworkers. I didn't need to do that. I knew what Henry would say. Just stick to the plan, Mark. The judge will take care of things for you. I knew Henry would be right. I went to the guest room and slept. The next morning, they came into the kitchen as I was drinking coffee. Karen went absolutely pale. Jason was visibly shaken as well. I handed her the papers Henry had given me. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. I left to stay at my sister's place until the divorce was finalized. The kids stayed with Dak and Sue for the duration. Weeks later, I learned that Karen tried to fight the divorce but failed. She got nothing, as Henry had promised. I got full custody of Max and Megan. Life moved on, and so did I.